I'm talking while you're coughing.
Good evening and welcome to Talk Local on Cogeco TV. So tonight we're going to do something a little different. You know my guests as our members of provincial parliament and federal parliament. Tonight we're going to get to know them as the people that they are and the community members that they are. So up first we have Bob Bailey, who is our member of provincial parliament.
Good evening, Kelly.
Good evening.
Glad
Welcome.
to be with you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thanks for the invitation.
I caught you on your week off.
Yes.
So before we start, I've got this list of questions.
Oh, yes. The pertinent, probing questions?
Absolutely. These are the tough ones.
Okay.
So here's the first one, just to give our readers, or give our audience a little bit of who you are. So, reading on a Kindle or a paperback?
Paperback.
It's the feel of that book.
Yeah, I like the feel of a newspaper or a book still.
So you are from Petrolia, so would you
Yes.
prefer to go to a play or a musical?
Probably the plays at the Victoria Playhouse, but I enjoy the musicals too. I've been to a number there recently, but they're all good. What they put on, in the Imperial Theatre here in Sarnia, I've been there too. Not as often as Petrolia.
We had the guys, one of the directors, one of the Davids from
Yeah,
Petrolia
David
a couple of
Rogers
weeks
or-
ago. Vacation in Hawaii or Alaska?
Oh, well, it'd be Hawaii if I was going either place. I don't like the cold.
So skiing or snowshoeing?
Probably snowshoeing would be safer than I wouldn't break a leg.
Travel by plane, train, or automobile?
Oh, well, I do a lot of traveling by automobile now, and I enjoy the train.
Mm-hmm.
I've been fortunate. I've been on the Cross Canada, the Great Canadian to Vancouver. We can talk about that later if you like. I love that, and I fly a bit. I fly a lot on Porter because I like it. I can go from Toronto to Ottawa, Toronto to a number of places, and they treat you like a human being still. I'd recommend Porter, ladies and gentlemen, to anybody.
So it's not the flying that scares anybody, it's the crashing.
Well, yeah, the sudden stops,
So have a night out or an evening in?
Well, I have a lot of days and nights out, so I enjoy being at home. When you're away 6 months of the year, and that's what it is most of the time, with a lot of commitments, and even commitments back here, on an evening, a number of events. There's always business after 5, or there's some group that's getting together and you go there. So, I'm just as happy to be at home. Now, on the weeks that we have our break week, you have a little more time, so you don't mind being out in the evening. But if you're only home, like we're there from Sunday night to Thursday night, so I really only have Friday, Saturday. Try to keep Sunday for family.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you have a large family.
Yes, I do. I have 3 children. I got 2 grandchildren. Got
And
a
they're getting
son-in-law.
bigger.
Yeah.
And a son-in-law.
And a cat.
And a cat. Do you use Facebook or Twitter?
Yeah, I do. I'm laughing because when I first got elected, I had no idea. I guess it was just coming on 10 years ago. But yeah, I follow it. I don't do a lot of tweeting by myself, but I like to read what's on Twitter. And my staff and I work with Facebook, so I have a lot of followers there. Now, I'll be honest, I don't go on and look at it all the time myself, but my staff, put a lot of postings on there, and I send them photos that I would like them, to put on for me. Like probably we'll do something tonight after, that I was here and help promote what you're trying to do here, which I applaud.
So, you are a politician.
Yes.
And you're on Twitter.
Yes.
Do you follow Donald Trump?
Sure, I follow all the American politicians. Yeah, I have. Yeah, and yes, I followed Trump, and I followed Romney. I followed all the American politicians. I like following American politics. It's so much different than ours.
Oh yeah.
And so how they do things, how the Congress works, and I always followed American politics long before I got elected, even so.
10 years. It doesn't seem like that long, but.
Yeah, it's some days it seems like 20.
Yeah.
Because you're working, they're long days. I actually get up as earlier as I did when I worked in industry, because I used to get up before 6 to be at the plant, and we started at 7 when we had summer hours, and 7:30 the rest of the time. And so I'm up early when I'm in Toronto, and read the news online, and do some phone calls and that, and then always try to be at the office before 8 o'clock, because the house starts at 9, and then question period at 10:30 to 11:30, and then depending on if you have committee in the afternoon, then the house doesn't rise till 6, and then sometimes there's meetings or things in the evening, so I never go home before 8 o'clock at night, back to my apartment. So, you know, they're long days, and, you know, but I enjoy it, you know, but so then it's hard to get out of that routine when you're back here at home.
Well, it's like when you're up on the weekends, right? People, I love when people say, I'm going to sleep in on the weekend. I do it. I'm going to sleep in on Sunday, and I'm up at 7.
Yeah, I've never, sleeping into me would be 8:30. Like this morning I had guests there because I had people back here from Queen's Park, and we were having meetings and that, and I was up at 5, woke up at 4, thought, I'm not getting up yet, took 2 aspirin, went back to bed, like the doctor said, take 2 aspirin.
Yeah.
But anyway, I took 2 aspirins, went and laid down again. Luckily went back to sleep, but I was up before the alarm at 6 because we had to be in Sarnia at 8. So yeah, I never sleep in, so I mean, it won't be any different tomorrow, and it won't be any different on the weekend. So, but you know, I don't seem to need a lot of sleep, 4 or 5 hours. If I really get tired, I'll go to bed and I might sleep for 7 or 8 hours, but then I'm fine, you know. But I'd have to get really run down for that to happen.
Has to take a long process.
Yeah.
So during the summer months when it's not in session,
yes,
you're everywhere.
Yep.
Like I guarantee if I go down to the Forest Tractor Show, I'm going to run into you.
Yeah.
So you, even though you're not in session, you're still, like you don't take the summers off. You're
I try to, we try to keep a schedule. People want to see you. And I always say this job is 7 days a week, even the Sunday, because I'll be somewhere in a restaurant, or I'll be at the mall, I'll be somewhere and someone will come up and say, oh, Bob or Mr. Bailey, I always said, no, it's Bob. Anyway, they'll come up and they'll say, I got this issue. So I'll give them a business card, and I'll put one of my staff members' names. And I said, look, no use you trying to explain it all to me here, because I'd only have to try and re-explain it to my staff tomorrow or on Monday. So just call the office, say you ran into me. So yeah, so you're never really off the clock, which I don't mind. I knew that when I got into it. But it's when my grandchildren were young, it's different now. They're older. My granddaughter will be starting high school next year, but we'd be out when they were, 10 years ago. They were real 7, 8 years old, and we'd be somewhere, and my granddaughter could talk. The other fellow was a little younger yet. She'd say, we'd be in a restaurant, and someone would come over and say hello, and just hi, how you doing? And she'd say, and of course the kids wanted to be, they wanted our time, right? And
that's right.
She'd say, why does everybody want to talk to my pa? She said, everywhere we go, everybody.
Because she wouldn't understand.
No, so now they understand, and so they grew up with the I call it the business, the family business, and it is like a small business, like you end up being very committed to it. My wife's very supportive. We work on this thing together, and I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for her help, to get here. And so I know that, and other people know that, so they call the house. If my staff, when I first got elected, they would try to field all the calls and that, and they'd say, well, we got one here, Mr. Bailey, you're going to have to take. And I'd say, oh, and they'd say, yeah, we tried to tell them that, we would answer their question, but they didn't want to talk to you. And we'd say, well, look, Mr. Bailey might not be available. And they'd say, well, we'll just call Bobby's mom. We'll get his phone number. So they said, I said, okay, so I'll call him. But it was some person that had known us for a long time, because, not too many people called me Bobby, from, my mother and a few other people. So they said, we think you're going to have to take this call.
Do you think that it's different if you're from a larger city than, because we're a small community, and I don't know that the MPPs from the Toronto area would have that same. No,
because they could go. They're pretty well incognito unless they go to a public event and they're introduced. They could wander around, no one would know them, unless they've been there a long time, like Hazel McCallion, the mayor of Mississauga. But yeah, it's different here. Like, I can go pretty well anywhere, and whether it's in the mall, and because I worked in industry, and I was in municipal politics for a number of years and interacted with those folks. United Way, a number of different functions, and of course now 10 years in the public eye at different public events, and so yeah, people get to know you and they feel comfortable coming up, and I like that. That's the way I like it, and people are always polite. To be honest, some people say, "Well, how could you do that? People must attack you," and knock on wood, people are very considerate of your time, and they have an opinion they want to tell you, or they'll send us a letter or an email. And I've had people have been very gracious in the last 10 years to me and my family, so I really appreciate that.
A lot of it's you too, though. Like, you make yourself accessible.
Yeah.
You don't shy away from being out in the public. And
no, I don't think you could do this job if you were an introvert. I don't think you could. Anyway, and I like to meet people. I've always did before I ever got elected. I was involved in different social aspects, public service or service clubs, fraternities, things like that, where I dealt with people on a one-on-one or in group situations. Used to put on dances for people and fundraise, and so I always felt I felt everything I did in life, either in work or things I did, prepared me for where I'm at today. Kind of set me up to do the job I'm doing. So yeah, I felt I was always preparing, right from the time I was in public school, high school.
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick break.
Thank you.
We're going to be right back. Stay with us. You're watching Talk Local on Cogeco TV. Welcome back to Talk Local on Cogeco TV. What we showed you before we went away was Bob singing a song. What was the name of the song?
Don't Be Ashamed of Your Age.
To one of his friends for his birthday. And you had no idea we were going to show that.
No, I didn't know that. When I turned around and looked there, I took a double take. I thought, that looks like me there.
Well, you said earlier how great your staff were, and I
Yeah,
got to
they
tell
are
you,
great.
they're fantastic. They sent me all kinds of stuff to put up.
Maybe some you can't show.
Well, one of the ones, and you were just telling me the story about the birds, because we showed a picture of you with all these
Yeah,
birds.
the parrots, yeah.
So what happened there?
Well, I was in Ottawa. We were down there at a meeting, a conference or something, my wife and I was walking along. I was right in front of the Chateau Laurier, if anybody watching knows where that is. It was summer, I think August, and this gentleman was there, and he had a camera, and he was taking people's pictures, and he had these parrots. And as soon as I seen them, I thought, I got to get in this picture with get these parrots perched on me. I think maybe there's a dozen of them. I'm not sure how many's in the picture, but my wife says, "Oh no, don't go over." And I said, I gotta be in this picture. Take my picture. And I'm one of those people spontaneous, and I see something like that, I got to be into it.
Well, because it's an experience,
Yeah,
right?
like, how many people got 15? I felt like a statue of General Nelson there. I didn't want to stay there too long because I might start to treat me like a statue if I was too immobile.
So, all right. So, people go into your line of work
Yes.
for various reasons. What was one of the reasons that drove you to it?
Well, I'll be honest, I was in politics right from the time I was about 12 or 14 years old. Our neighbor, a longtime provincial member, Lauren Henderson, was a childhood friend of my father's. And I remember, how he was looked up to in the community and the work he did for the community, for the municipalities. And I thought, there's some line of work I'd like to do someday. Never dreaming I probably would ever get there. And then I had the opportunity over the years. I got involved, like I say, as a youth. I was in youth politics locally, and then I was on the executive when I got a little older, and I was a riding president and raised money. I did every job but be the candidate, and then there came an opportunity, and like I say, I was in municipal politics for a number of years. I was on the hospital board, and like I say, everything I did kind of prepared me, I think, I feel today, for the opportunity to run. And I seen an opportunity in 2007. I thought, well, I'm going to put my name forward, and I did. And the people were very supportive here locally, and I always consider it a privilege to serve them. And like I say, the day you don't think it's a privilege and an honor to be there is the time you should step aside. So as long as I feel that way and I have my health, I'd like to continue to do that. It's a job I really enjoy, and the longer you're there, the more you learn, the more you understand. I've had a number of private members' bills I've been able to pass. So it was just something I always wanted to do, and the opportunity came forward, and I realized, only so many people ever get to do that. Only so many people either have the opportunity or the, I don't like to say luck, because I always think luck is where preparation meets opportunity. So that's what I call luck. And I had a lot of good advice along the way from Mr. Henderson, from Mr. Brandt, Mr. Boucher, of course. A number of those people that I worked with over the time. got Mr. Bobian was a good friend of mine as well. And so we're fortunate here. I have a number of colleagues that were former members that are still here. Ms. TalkLocal, of course, Ms. Van Bommel. So I know them all. They're all, I like to call them friends. You know, we've worked together on a number of different issues. So anytime if I need advice, I know I can always go to them, and they know they can come to me. And of course, the federal members as well. So I spent my whole life in this game or this profession.
So you knew what you were getting into. Nothing was a big shock.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. And I see men and women down there that realize after they get there, this isn't what I signed up for, they don't think. But I did know. I knew the hours. I knew the type of work, and you got to have your family has to be involved with you. If you don't have a spouse, male or female, depending which members, which one of you is elected, you have to have a very supportive family. And, if you're young, and it's not very easy to do, but I suggest young people take their family, their spouse and family with them if they can. Now, that doesn't work for everybody. My children were older, and so that wasn't a case with me. But I do see young people down there, and I think the ones that are more successful, they're able to have their families with them some of the time, and that's important.
Your wife goes with you.
Yes, she
frequently.
does. She's got responsibilities back here too, but with the grandchildren and that. But yes, she's from time to time, she comes down. She helps set up my office in Toronto. And of course, our home, I have a little apartment there. She helped
Yes, you do.
furnish
It's
that.
very well furnished.
Yeah, very well furnished with your advice with her, of course. And and she's been very supportive in that way. Like when I ran for the nomination, to step back a bit, she coordinated all the memberships.
Yeah.
And so we've been a real team in that way. Now, not everybody works that way, and it wouldn't work for everyone, but it's worked for us. And it wouldn't work in every situation, but it works for us. And I really admire her advice, and because she's got a good read on people, and you need something like that. Somebody. Other than staff, sometimes you need somebody in your family to say, wait, this isn't right, or I don't like the looks of that, and you need that, and you need somebody that knows you and knows some of the situations, and so yeah, I don't know, that's where we were going, but that's where I ended up.
Hey, the show is about getting to know Bob. You've been married how long?
Well, we were married in 1970, January. You didn't think I'd know my anniversary?
No, I'm thinking it shouldn't take you that long to say how many.
No, it's 40. It'll be 47 years. This year, yeah.
So you're partners?
Yes, we known each other probably a lot longer than most of your viewers would. We were in public school together, and grade 1 actually.
Wow. See, and you don't hear that. Like you do, but you don't, right? But it's the partnership, and just hearing you talk about her, it's that partnership is what makes it work.
So she knows. She's seen every. She's seen every side of me. I've made lots of mistakes in my life. I'm not going to sit here and say I haven't. Would have made a lot more probably without her advice and guidance along the way. She never made too many, but I think I made a few.
So what
but I don't mind saying that.
What is the best piece of advice that she's giving you?
Oh, don't get too full of yourself, I guess, because I tell you, when you're in the public eye, it can happen. I hope it has never happened to me, but I know it could, because people are, you need to know why they're having you do something sometimes, or what are they, you start to think, what's behind this really, what's the motive? So I don't like to think that way. I like to think everybody's there for the right reason. That's me. She's a little more, what would you say, she's a little more circle.